In Michigan, we have to deal with road salt, and this is the result. Today, I'm going to talk about how we can fix this permanently and then prevent it from rusting again. So as you can see, we got rust right here, and I'm sure it goes all the way out here because I see some bubbles. And again, it rusts from the inside. The salt, water, and debris gets in between the wheel well and this fender, and then it rots it out from the inside. So we're going to just cut this all out, probably out to here, and we're going to keep cutting it out until we see good metal. And don't be shy, just keep cutting until you got good solid metal. The reason I had to cut it out so far was I had to find good thick metal, and I had to keep going until I got there, and I can feel that this is good, strong, thick metal, and I can feel back here, and I don't feel any bubbles, no rust or bubbles like that. The inner fender is rusted out. This is the wheel well. It's not part of the fender, but it is the wheel well. The wheel well rusted out, and so I'm going to put a patch there so that I have something to weld to when I put this patch on. So when I put this patch on, I'm going to fold it over, but I need something to weld right here, so I'm just going to put a patch there. After I get that done, and after I cut the patch, I'll be back to show you the rest. So I went ahead and welded up a patch in here, and let me show you that with the flashlight. Maybe you can see it in there. I welded it right here first, right here, on the inside. I put two big slots in there for drainage. I'm going to drill a giant hole here after I put the patch so that the salt water can drain out. But I welded it. You know, these slots also allowed me to bend each portion up and curve it around to the wheel well, and then I welded it on the back side. So now I have this lip here that I can weld the patch to. Looks, well, it's not that flimsy, but once I weld this patch along here, it's going to be super strong. Then I'm going to drill a little 1/8 inch hole up here at the top of the fender on the inside, and I'll be able to squirt oil in there against this inside of the fender. It'll all drain down and just sit right on the inside here on this new metal and just spread around, spread and creep and get that all greasy, and it won't rust. So the patch is welded in, and I'm going to cut a patch for this, and I'll be right back. So I cut a patch. I actually welded a couple of pieces. I got a bunch of square scrap pieces of sheet metal that is the thickness of automotive sheet metal, and I just zapped them together real quick to make a long piece. But these arrows here, I'm just going to tack it right. The first thing you want to do is tack it on that point right there, and then over here. We'll tack it right there. Then we're going to weld it up here. Last thing we're going to do is cut slots up to where the wheel well is. Cut slots and bend those over so that we have a perfect wheel well opening. So now I'm going to tack this patch, first of all, right here on that little arrow. Then I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to tack that right here. So I have it grounded back here. Okay, that's going to hold it into place, and we're going to start welding around here. I'm going to bend it right down there, hold it down there with a screwdriver as I go along. Now we're going to spot weld so we don't warp this panel. So I'm going to go spot weld here, maybe spot weld up here, maybe here and here. Then I'm going to do in between those spot welds. Then I'm going to do even closer. The right way would be to spot weld right next to each other all the way around. Well, we're just going to do them about every ½ inch, because this fender's going right back to the junkyard where I borrowed it from. It's just for a demonstration. But the right way would be to weld real close all the way along, spot welds. Not a single run, because you'll warp the panel. Now I can go in between all these welds. I don't have to push it down so hard anymore. Now, that's good for right there. If this was my vehicle, I'd leave it just like that. I'm fine with that because I'm going to knock it down and fill it with plastic filler. When you work in a body shop, your boss is going to want you to weld real close. All those spot welds will almost, pretty much be touching each other. I'm just going to save on some gas. This thing, like I said, is going back to the junkyard. Now what I'm going to do is I have a little line bent in there so I know where to approximately go up to. I can feel the panel back here, but I'm going to put slots. Slot here, slot here, slot here, slot here, slot here, slot here, and I'm going to bend those up. Then I'm going to weld each slot that I cut. The less you cut, obviously, the easier it's going to be. So Now, I'm going to take a welder, you know, my little MIG welder there, and I'm going to weld up all those slots underneath there. Then after I weld them up, it'll be very firm, real firm, and then I can whack away at it and get it to where I want. Then we're going to grind this up and knock it down. You know, grind out here, get it all cleaned up, and fill it. So after I weld these up, I'll be right back. Alright, so I welded the slots up underneath, and I welded this lip to the wheel well, which really firmed it up. Now the next thing you have to do is just grind these spot welds down just lightly. You don't have to kill them, just grind them down a little bit, just to, you know, get the high spots, because we're going to knock this down. So I'm just going to grind those a little bit and clean this up, and you'll see what we have. So that's it. I welded up the slots underneath. I welded it to the inner wheel well, so it's very firm. I made sure that this arch looked right, so I whacked it around a little bit under there. I cleaned up these welds, ground them, wire brush them. I could sandblast this. The plastic filler would adhere a lot better. Next step we're going to do is knock this all down below the original surface. Then we're going to fill it. Well, knock this down. Then we're going to grind it. Make sure we got enough room to do our body filler. We're going to fill it and finish it up. And I'm going to put a link above this video. If you want to watch the rest of this video, click on that link, and I'm going to fill it and end up painting this whole fender so you can see the finished product. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel.